I have a very small YouTube account. Nobody watches it.
I'll check it again just to see.
All right, I think it's recording. I'm almost positive. So let's just go with that.
We ready?
Let's hope my battery stays.
I have charger.
Yeah, but
in between.
then we lose. Yeah.
In between.
Okay.
It says
I'll start the show without him, and then you can bring him on.
Okay.
it says live stream on.
Can we check the sound? Live stream says it's online?
Yeah, we're live.
It is live streaming.
It's live stream.
Okay. All right.
Who was the fourth? It was you, Lori, Mark, Marius, Jane. Yes.
Let me just do an intro, like stand back there, and then I'm gonna have you bring him on.
I was just gonna do
Close those doors.
things. Yeah.
Close those.
I'm gonna.
Not those doors. Those.
Oh
those,
yeah,
then-
of course.
Good memory.
Oh, should we put the fan up?
Oh yeah, we should. You think it's gonna get hot? Let's see. If it doesn't get hot, let's keep it like this.
Yeah.
If it gets hot, we'll put the fan on.
Was
All right,
this-
we'll get a little warm in here. We ready to go? Oh, that's my water. That's my water. All right. All right. Let's start this thing.
Am I recording?
It is recording.
I
Put
mean-
the zoom on. Zoom on. Ready to go?
We're recording.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bingle Show. If those are beers clanking you heard in the background, that's because everybody's drinking on the show, except for me. I'm not allowed to drink because something's wrong with my stomach. I think years and years of tequila and stress and shitty food have finally caught up with me, and my life is miserable right now because I can't have any sugar or any alcohol, so I'm switching to drugs. That's right. If you want to sponsor our show, you better be a pharmaceutical company or a drug dealer. Anyway, this is the Bingle Show. We've got a great episode planned tonight. We have one of my oldest, dearest comedy pals, Pete Lee, everybody. He's almost too nice for me, but we also have, I just want to tell you, some upcoming dates that are happening. No, not yet for them. Upcoming dates next weekend. I'm going to be, wait, when's this air?
This airs in 2 weeks.
Oh, in 2 weeks?
Yes.
Oh, so you're going to have to come to
23rd.
Spokane to see me November 1st, 2nd, 3rd. I believe I'm in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. No, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. I'm in Spokane, Washington. Please come out and see me. I don't think anybody lives there. If you do, I've never heard from anybody there. Please come see me. Spokane, I'll be at the Spokane Comedy Club. And then November 4th is our big date, Comedy Wipeout. It's going to be at the Comedy Store right here, right up from here. We're at the Improv right now, the world famous Improv. But that night, we're going to be at the Comedy Store on Sunset Boulevard in the big room. It is the Comedy Wipeout with Lachlan Patterson, Andrew Norelli, Moshe Kasher, myself, Chad Kroger from Nickelback. No, Chad Kroger from Chad Goes Deep. We have, did I say Moshe Kasher? Yes. Did I say Monty Franklin? No, I didn't. Did I say Joe Prano? No, I didn't. They're all going to be there. It's to benefit Save the Waves, which is a coalition that preserves ecosystems. I don't know. You know, it's good. They're doing good shit. So just come. It's $25. It's going to be a great show. We're going to pack the place. So buy your tickets now at Ifft.com. I think the exact address is Ifft.com/comedy wipeout. So if you go to that, you can get the tickets. It's available on my Facebook, my Instagram, everything. Just look for it. Come out. It's going to be a really, really fun night. Chris Wilde's been begging me to open the show. I don't know if we're going to let that happen. We had Sal Masekela, but he has to go do something for National Geographic. So it's going to be us. Make sure you go to iTunes, rate, review, comment. We're on iTunes. We're on SoundCloud now. I think I just added us to SoundCloud, maybe Spotify. We're going to be on all these things. This show's moving right now. We're moving. We're getting shit done finally. We're on YouTube right now. You can see this on YouTube if you're a Patreon. So go to Eddie. As you can hear, we don't have a sponsor today. So you are the sponsor. Go to patreon.com/EddieIfft. Sponsor the show. Just give us a few bucks. If you give us $5, you can watch all the videos. That's right. We're going to post the link to all $5. Anyone who gets $5 gets a link. That's it. Go to EddieIfft.com, use the Amazon click-through. That's about it. That's enough show shit to get it out of the way. Let's get going because I have a guest here. I want to get him on. He brought his girlfriend. That's how nice he is. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Peter Lee. Where's your girlfriend? Jamie can come on too.
Jamie, do you want to come on?
Jamie, come sit down.
Well, I'll sit over here.
Sit
I'll
over. You
on
can
this
sit
side of you.
wherever you like.
All right, perfect.
You got some good shoes, Pete.
Oh,
I
thank
didn't
you.
mean that close.
Yeah, is this not how people sit? I
Usually sit like there.
I figured we're on camera, so like we gotta be
No,
tight in.
No, it's a very wide
Yeah,
angle.
Nobody's ever sat
Can
that
I just
close.
like sat on your
That's
lap?
the closest. Jamie, you can do it now.
All right.
I used to be such a dirtball, and I'm such a not anymore.
I was telling her the story on the way over here about with my ex-wife who has the same name as her.
Mm-hmm.
When I first met her, I called up Eddie and I was like, oh, that's not spelling. I called up Eddie and I like told you all about her, but I was really drunk one night, and then I called you like 2 months later, and then you were like, wait, is she like really athletic? Like she plays rec league sports? Like you're like, oh no, I know that girl. You're like, I've had sex with her. Like, and he played a huge prank on me that he had sex with this girl that I was falling in love with, and you had me going, and then you're like, no, all right, it's cool, let's just change the subject, and you're like, how's the road, man? And I was like, no, wait, we need to go back. We need to go back to the you've had sex with this girl I'm falling in love with. And then at the end of the phone call, like right before we got off, you were like, nah, I was kidding. I was kidding.
I'm a good person. That's really
Yeah.
I'm a good person. And think about it. If I had really had sex with her, you would have never married her, and it would have all worked out.
Yeah, it actually would have been better.
Yeah. So don't you wish I had sex with her?
It would have been way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a couple good stories in the past. I was on stage at a college in Maryland once. I think it was Maryland. I don't remember where. And I did a bit, and in the punchline of the bit, the whole audience yelled out, "You're gay!" And I was like, if enough people say that to you, maybe I am. Like, I just had like 150 kids all at once tell me I'm gay. And I'm like, that's the weirdest thing that's ever happened. And I'm like, what? What gave it away? And they're all laughing hysterically. I'm like, I don't get it. And they wouldn't stop laughing. And they're like, Pete Lee was here last week, and he was doing a show, and he said, you're going to do that joke. And when you do that joke, for us all to yell out, you're gay. So I was like, oh, that's hilarious. So then I pulled out my phone and I was going to call him and say like, hey Pete, and I went, I have a better idea. Here's Pete's phone number.
Oh no!
So yeah, I got so many calls and texts, and like that was like before iPhone, where you could just like swipe and delete. I had a BlackBerry Pearl where I had to like scroll with this. Like I think I broke the Pearl on my BlackBerry Pearl by the end of that night. It was so funny. And that was like, it's so funny how PC colleges are now are.
They would
like,
never yell that.
They would never. They'd be like, "You're gender fluid and it's acceptable." That's what they would have to yell. But yeah. Oh my God.
They'd yell something like, "You're not an accepting person."
Yeah.
Pete says you're not nice. Speaking of blackballed. Do you remember when I had the new family in Cincinnati? We got the whole Cincinnati connection going.
Oh yeah.
That's where we first worked together, right?
We first worked together at Go Bananas in Cincinnati, and that's the last time that I worked there. So
Really?
it's like it was like the first and the second and like the last time that because I don't know what happened. I think I had taken a feature week at the Funny Bone, and then Mikey just didn't work anymore. Which Mikey's my friend. Like Mikey's my friend now, and we hang out, and I've gone in and done guest sets, but he doesn't work me.
Mikey's not a normal guy.
He's not.
I don't work for him either.
It's funny because he's one of those guys on Facebook that will post like I've been reading your statuses and that's why I don't book you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you gotta. At least he's not a phony. At least he says that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but he's got this little inkling of power.
Yeah.
And it's just like with this, like, a weekend of my life. And he's like, I control that weekend. And he's like, you will not be here. And
he's the Gandalf of comedy. Thou shall not pass.
Yeah, he has his little weekend, and he cherishes that, and it's his whole, like, imagine if he had real power.
Yeah,
he'd be fucking terrifying if he like ran HBO or something.
Oh yeah, there would be no shows because he'd be like, everybody pissed me off. The screens are going dark this season, just completely up.
Since Rachel has started working on the show, because I met Rachel in Cincinnati, there's been so many guys that our common bond is Cincinnati, And so he comes up every episode.
Yeah. Do you remember Riley Silverman?
She's gonna be on the show
she's gonna be
on the 23rd.
Riley Silverman.
Her name is now Riley,
It's
right?
correct.
And before it
Yes, we
was
talked about her.
Oh, so Riley.
Ryan.
Yeah.
previously Ryan.
Yeah.
And like Ryan was one of my like broiest friends. That we would like go out and drink beer and do shots and stuff and talk about like the broiest of stuff and hit up open
Pete, I
mics.
find that a little hard to believe because you.
Well, I think compared to me, Ryan was a bro. Like Ryan was like compared to
I think
me.
that's a little scary that like your broiest bro is now a woman.
Yeah, exactly.
That says a lot.
Yeah, that says a lot about who I am in my current state of masculinity. But like,
Where'd all my bros go?
Yeah.
Oh, they're in the ladies' room.
oh, they're on Instagram with boots that perfectly complement their dress. I will say
You know
that
you're dating a gay man?
I see a different side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the manly side.
Yeah.
You're gonna-
The manly side.
I think this is all fake. This whole like, I'm Pete Lee, I'm happy. Behind your back, he's like, I'll fucking kill you, motherfucker.
Actually, I will say he is the happiest person I know. I always tell people he proofs rainbows.
He
Like,
comes from Wisconsin. They're all like
oh my
that.
gosh, he wakes up cracking jokes, smiling, like every day.
Dancing, I dance for you all the
dances
time.
in the
How long have you guys been dating?
well, it's a gray
5
area.
months.
Yeah, 5-ish
Yeah,
months.
you're about to hit the 6 where it's
Everybody
gonna
says
turn.
that, yeah,
Where you're gonna
at
see
8
the
months,
dark
they
side of
say.
Pete.
What if when you said that I went,
He's also, your career is on fire right now. So, you know, careers go like this. So if he takes a dip, oh, watch out. I've heard he hits women.
oh, abusive? Yeah, I hit him.
I know.
I hit him with pillows right now, but pretty soon,
Yeah.
It'll-
There's going to be soap in those pillows.
yeah. I'm gonna go from
Full
bed
metal
pillows to
jacket.
decorative ones that kind of have a hard exterior, and you're gonna wish that you had behaved.
Do you remember my family in Cincinnati?
Yeah. Yeah, wasn't that the girl that you
Right.
went to the weird guy's house?
Yes.
I didn't know if it was okay if we tell this.
I've told that story on here a bunch of times, and I've told so many. I met a bunch of my fans in Vancouver this week. Friends, not fans. I call them friends. I hate to call them fans.
Uh-huh.
Because they come up to you and they're like, I've listened to 600 hours of you. And they're like, I feel weird. I know everything about you. And I go, how often do I repeat stories? And they're like, oh, quite a bit. I go, at least I'm not a liar then, because if you told it a different way,
Yeah.
it would be like, wait a minute.
Yes, you're right.
Because I went on Rogan a bunch of times, and people would always write in the comments, this guy's a fucking liar. He just tells lies. And then I would put links up, like proving the stories I was telling. Like, okay, like this guy, he didn't go to high school with the guy who had the horse fucking farm in Seattle. And I'm like, oh, here's the link. Now look where he went to high school. Now look where I went to high school. Fuck face. So,
Man.
yeah, I get so mad. It's like 12-year-olds I'm fighting with.
It's
But
funny to me that a guy can just make a claim and then you have to do like 25 minutes of administrative work.
Yeah.
Where you have to dig and then post and then.
And I realized they're
you-
12-year-olds. They're 12-year-olds, and when you meet them, they're like half retarded,
Mhm.
and you're like, I can't believe I just wasted 20 minutes of my life arguing and trying to prove a point to this person.
With Reddit user
Because
2112.
everybody looks the same on the internet when they post. You're like, I don't know who this guy is.
That person's opinion's valuable. I think that they're but meanwhile, if that same guy came and yelled at you on the street, you'd be like, you're insane and stupid, and I won't spend time. I block people immediately. I had this woman this morning, and I want to get to your story, but I had this woman this morning that I had made a political post, and it wasn't really a political post. It was just like it was about
It really
Taylor.
wasn't that bad.
It wasn't really that bad, but it was about Taylor Swift. She lost 0 fans over the thing, and the news media was so she started out at 112 million fans, and then on Instagram, and then later on that day it was 112 million fans, and then 300,000 people registered to vote in her home state, like so
Wow.
in Tennessee. So like, but the thing worked, and but I always get these things, and you might get this, but. This woman just started out her tweet at me like, I tune into you to be entertained, not for political.
Yeah.
And like I got to like, and not for and I was like blocked. Like
Yeah.
I block so easily. I don't argue. I
The
just
funny
block.
thing is, there's this thing about if you're an entertainer, you're a performer, you should keep your opinions to yourself. And it's like, I'm also an American, and I have an opinion, and all our opinions are valued at a different level, or some of us have a larger voice than others, because some of us just might be, hey, I might be the guy that has the local town store, and 50 people come through my store every day. Well, there's 50 people opposed to the guy who sits behind a computer all day, or the guy who writes. There's a journalist, he has opinions, so yeah, everyone deserves their opinion and can have it. I think that's the dumbest thing ever. And in my opinion, what Kathy Griffin thinks doesn't affect me at all, because I go, I don't agree with her on whatever she's, so why would I care?
Yeah.
And because I like someone like I like Kelly Slater's surfing, that doesn't mean I agree with his politics.
Yeah, I would assume that Kelly Slater would have some pretty liberal politics because he's a surfer dude. I would think that people would assume that most comedians and entertainers have pretty liberal views.
I think it's surprising. I thought that in the beginning that all comedians were liberal, and then I started finding out so many that are conservative, but they're kind of closeted conservative. Like most of the guys that work the Comedy Cellar in New York are conservative.
Oh yeah, like DePaulo is conservative.
More than just
like
DePaulo.
Jim Norton.
You'd be so surprised how many of them are conservative. So many of them, and so many here too that you'd be surprised, because I start talking to them and then the arguments start and I'm like, whoa. And I like to say I'm ultra moderate. Like I'm so in the middle.
Yeah.
And I listened to a woman today this professor talk about how politics has developed into this like team sport, and how it's so bad what's happened, and the only way it's going to end is if we start having minor parties, because people are aligning, and it hurts their self-esteem when their side loses. So there is this kind of, when Trump won, all the Democrats are kind of like, it crushed them, because that was their team, and they're like, and then they've been crushed, so now they want to get back. It's just like when the Packers lose to the Patriots or whoever it is, and they, for a whole year they stew it. That's what's happening. There's so much team sport about it, and it's just stupid.
I agree, but they also attach their mommy or daddy issues to that tribe and like to that thing. So yeah, when their team loses with the Supreme Court nomination, it's like their daddy issues or whatever, like crushing them again.
Yeah.
And they're like, they've lost their childhood again.
Yeah.
I had this therapist that said, your childhood is a game and you lost, so now it's time to win in adulthood. But most people are like playing their childhoods over and over again on social media, and it's almost hilarious. Like if you look at it that way, you can just like see like, oh, she's mad at her dad, or that guy's so mad at his mom, and that's why he's anti-Hillary, or what, like any guy that was like Hillary's emails. I'm like, oh, your mom must have been a monster.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, but what I thought about the team thing is people will sometimes go against what they believe in actually. To just take the side of their team.
Oh yeah.
And I'm seeing all this hypocrisy, and I don't even want to get into the Kavanaugh thing, but I'm seeing hypocrisy on both sides where people are taking these ultra pious stances, and it's like, wait a minute, I used to party with you. Fucking did some bad shit.
Yeah.
And now you're grandstanding and up on this ivory pillar. He should not be. And then as soon as you go, are you perfect? I'm not trying to be Supreme Court Justice of the United States. And I'm not defending him. I'm telling you, I'm so in the middle. I used to joke about how it's WWE a long time ago, and it's even more now, and it's getting more and more. And I tweeted the other day about how it's all a game. And the funny part is, everybody watching and tweeting, you're like the people in the fans. You're not playing. You're not part of the game. Give up.
Yeah.
You're not part. This game is going on without you. There's big money behind it. You're not part of the big money. I always say I'm never going to vote. And then my wife and I are like, oh, we got to go vote because there's so many referendums and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, because it doesn't make a difference. It really there's so much big money in it that is so beyond you and I. Like special interest we have I would love to believe that our democracy works, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's better than most of the other ones. We don't have these but we're getting to be a banana republic, but we're not like Syria or something like that, where you can have this. But we kind of do.
Yeah, I sometimes wonder if it's all rigged, or like even the last election, I'm like, man, the fact that like in so many of those districts, like Trump won by 4 votes. I'm like, really?
But there's so much going on behind the scenes that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because I read somewhere that's the Harvard sect. The Harvard people are running the country, and they're highly intellectual, and they have to dumb it down for the non-Harvard sect. And so they're manipulating, they're playing chess with each other. They're at chess on a 2100 level, and the rest of the country's on like a 900 level. And they're going, oh fuck, we gotta play with this guy who's gonna throw the whole game out of whack. And how do we fucking play with him?
How do we do this?
Yeah, and so they're manipulating. There's so. I mean, I heard so many political analysts talking about, well, this motivated the Republicans, and if Kavanaugh hadn't gotten in, then they would have come out in full force and voted more. So the Democrats actually wanted Kavanaugh to get in, so that it would motivate in the midterms the Democrats, and people go, well, that's stupid because they don't want the courts to change, but they never had a chance. They never had a chance, so why not get the people angry so they come out and vote? And then, because if the Republicans didn't get him in, and then all the Republicans come out and vote, then he can renominate him again right after the election and get him confirmed again. So there's so many games. Like, that's why when I watch House of Cards, I'm like, I think this is all fucking true.
Yeah.
Like, all this shit goes on. I think people get murdered. I think all that fucking shit goes on.
How could they not, with all that money and power? And so like years ago, I was on Best Week Ever on VH1.
I remember that. I think I did an episode of that.
Yeah.
I might have done the pilot of that.
I think you did the pilot of it. But like I remember it was an election year, and they were like throwing all this. Like we kept getting raises as the cast, and so like I kept getting raises, and I was like, how do you guys have money right now? I just always heard that nobody has any money. They go, oh well, it's an election year, and this Viacom dude goes, he's like, don't you know how this works? And I was like, no. And he goes, all right. He goes, everybody's giving money to Obama, and then everybody's giving money to Romney. It was like back then. He goes, where do you think that money goes? And I was like, I don't know. Yeah, and he goes, all the networks, CBS Outdoor, like Disney, like NBC, like all these places, it goes to like 4 central places. He goes, so we've all basically agreed to keep it tight. So like it's like the race is super tight, right? But he goes, the race wasn't tight. Obama won by a landslide.
Oh yeah, I know they do that. I know they do.
So
that.
it's like we're essentially like, as the news, we're driving up the fundraising by keeping it tight, and and having those panels where there's people on both sides arguing. And he's like, that's why we have so much money. So like the news makes us money. And then that we ration that out for the next 4 years.
And then this last election, because it was such a train wreck, and their ratings skyrocketed, they went, wait a minute, this is where the money is.
Yeah.
People always chase the money, and it's that if they see a boom, it's how Fox started, and then CNN followed them. Those 2 networks, I just will never ever see it.
Yeah.
MSNBC, Fox, CNN. None of them, I can't even turn them on. The only political, I listen to this thing called Left, Right, and Center on KCRW. That's the only, I live by it every week. Once a week I listen to it, and they talk about policy. I'm like, this is the only place I can get my politics. Fuck everything else.
Yeah.
Because it's all such bullshit.
Maybe we should listen to that.
It's a
That should
really
be our
good
source.
Left, Right, and Center. So and it's so funny because I thought I was a liberal, and I would listen to this conservative guy on there, and I'm like, I think his name's Rich Barrow, and I'm like, I love this guy. I agree with him all the fucking. He hates Trump. And so I love him, but he's a conservative, and he's great, and I agree with him all the time. He'll break things down and be like, all right, the liberals are out. I mean, they're exaggerated, this is bullshit, blah, 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 and he's not one of these, like, he's not starting fight, and I'm like, okay, I hear his side, and then I'll listen to the liberal, I'm like, but I agree with her, and they don't get combative, and it's not soundbite driven, and they give each other a long time to talk, and it's great. So it's my
Left, Right, Center. We got it.
It's
All
my
right.
favorite. There's 2 Left, Right, Centers on there. The one from KCRW is the awesome one. It's 3 editors from 3 big magazines.
We need a spin-off, more left of center, and then we'll listen to that.
I think most of us are moderate, and we're all being controlled by the radicals right now, because everybody likes a fucking train wreck.
Yeah. Everybody is borderline personality now because everything has to be so extreme.
Yeah.
It has to be like I feel this about this, or like I'm gonna take an extreme stance. And the people that I can't tolerate anymore, like my line is just like, can you have a conversation or can't you? The people that are just like, I'm taking my ball and going home, or I'm disappointed. I'm like, nope, done, blocked, like blocked right away. Like I will. If you're intolerant, I'll block you immediately. If you want to have a conversation, I will talk forever.
I have had very few people walk out of my show, and people always ask me because they think I'm offensive. They're like, "Oh my God, you must have a lot of walkouts in your show." And I go, weirdly, no. I'm surprised, and I don't have many people come up to me afterwards and say I didn't like this. I'm sure people don't like my show, but I don't have going like making a stand like that was wrong or blah, and walk out. So I don't know where all this shit's going on, because I've got sold out shows and no one's standing up and going, I'm offended, you just made fun of. I mean, I've had a couple instances and played with it and dealt with it and then dealt with it online, but I perform every night of the week. I've had a bunch of Trump supporters though, when I make fun of him, get up and walk out. And
they really don't like it.
Who's the triggered one now? Like, you can't. I trash
now?
Hillary. I'll trash Hillary for 10 minutes straight. Then I'll do a Trump joke, and they get up and walk out. And I'm like, who's the sensitive one? That's why I think this whole portrayal of the liberals is created by the conservatives, and it's kind of their technique. They're going, we're going to cast them out as these crazy, crazy, batshit radicals. They've always existed, just like there's fucking, abortion clinic bombers on the right. They've always existed too. Those crazy fucking Westboro Baptist Church. There's crazies on both sides. But the conservatives have done a really good job of making people look at the radical left now. And they're like, look at them all. They're protesting. They're yelling. They're screaming. Blah, blah, blah. And so what that does is it pushes moderate people away from the left. Moderates are like, I don't want to be part of this crazy shit. So, but I don't think it's really happening, but as much as they're saying. Because I've only once I did a transgender joke about I remember that online when you said tranny,
and then everybody came after you, and I remember the fallout of that on Twitter.
Yeah, it was like, and it was like one thing, one time, and I was so apologetic. I do a bit about it now, but they said I couldn't say the word tranny because it's an abbreviation, it's a slur. It was just one person in the audience, and I came back and I'm pretty good, like it, and then letters came, and it was a whole long thing, but I don't want to get into it. But it was just stupid. What was I gonna ask you? I know when we get on, we don't talk about politics ever on here though, and I kind of like to every once in a while.
It's funny that I'd be the person that would stoke that, but
I know.
because I'm so not political on stage, and I've made a few posts lately that are like just a handful of posts, but it's funny because like I'll make a post, like early in the day that's maybe like something political, and then like my next post is like the most lighthearted thing.
You can't do. You can. You can do whatever you want to do, but it's how much of your day do you want to waste once you start it?
Arguing
and the other thing is, for some reason, it's like the way Facebook works. If you get a lot of comments, it pushes you up in the feed, so then more comments start, and you make a political statement. Like I could go on mine right now and be like, I think abortion's good. I think we need to kill babies, and all of a sudden, what do you think?
If you post it, isn't it crazy that those two sentences would just cause a civil war on your page? I mean, it would be insane, but you would drive out all these crazies that would be like I think killing babies is great, and then on the other side, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And then like 7 comments later, Hitler.
Yeah.
Like Hitler's always brought up.
Well, that's why I'm amazed. I post something, I get like 6 comments, and then I'll go to like just some lunatic's page, and they'll have like 640,000 comments going on because they spawned some political argument that everybody wanted to have their opinion heard.
Yeah.
There are so many times when I read something somebody says and I'm like, no. Like I'm about, and I'm like, don't get involved. It's just a waste of fucking time. You're not going to enlighten anybody. You're not going to change anyone's mind. Facebook is a fucking piece of shit.
It is.
Facebook should just go away.
I deactivated last week.
She
just,
did.
Just to take a break.
Zuckerberg's just a nerd, a piece of shit, loser nerd, and he should have never fucking come up with this shit, and we should destroy it and save the earth.
Yeah, I mean and now it's been hacked,
I hope
so
they hack it.
every single day we get multiple messages from people going like it's the same form letter like of my thing's been hacked.
I use it less and less, and I'm hoping it turns out where the only place I see Zuckerberg is fucking in some volcano with Tom from MySpace, and they're taking pictures together. And he's like, life's good since I left Facebook. It was incredible how it built up, and then it all fell apart one day, and I had no friends anymore.
Yeah. Do you remember? I mean, because like Friendster came up, and then it crumbled, and then MySpace came, and somehow it became uncool. How the fuck has Facebook not become uncool?
I don't know.
3 letters?
CIA.
You think the CIA's involved?
Yeah, there was. I was listening to Sam Tripoli's podcast.
Okay, Sam's show is it's all about conspiracy theories.
And apparently there was like this other thing that was kind of like Facebook that was CIA, and it was shut down the day that Facebook went live.
Wow.
Well, it's funny. I was at the iPhone store today, and they were switching. I got the new 10X, and I broke it like 2 days later.
Oh, no.
And it's made of salamander skin, and the glass is about as strong as a light bulb, and I'm just yelling in there, and then we finally worked it out, and they're giving me a new phone, but they were just zapping over like all my information from one phone to the other, and it's in a cloud, and they've got all your shit.
Yeah, they have all of it.
Everything. Like if you go read the Patriot Act. If you think they don't have everything you've ever done and access to it, you're out of your fucking mind.
We're targeted all the time on Instagram from conversations, not searches, but actual conversations that we have.
Yeah, she said the other day, she goes, just talk about like I need a gardening tool. Let's build our garden up. And then we were targeted with like Scott's turf builder.
Yeah.
I was talking about how my legs were aching because we had been flying a lot. I was targeted with compression socks. And then a really funny thing that happened was we were making fun of Trump one day, and I got a call from Russia.
Like a second later.
Like a legit
Yeah.
phone call that just in red on an iPhone said Russia. And we were like, what are we
Russia.
going to do?
There's so much like it's
Just
the whole
Russia.
thing about the Russian scandal though. What's so funny is the Democrats were doing it too. The same kind of shit. They would have aligned with anyone that would give them the emails. And I'm not defending. I hate Donald Trump for so many reasons.
Yeah.
But she's a piece of shit, and she was doing the same kind of fucking shit.
They were both very bad candidates.
Everyone's
third
bad. It's a
party.
bad system.
I voted Libertarian because I just wanted the 5% to have a choice next time. At least there was something.
We need
but-
smaller parties. We need like,
Yeah.
but you can't. There's 325 million people in this country. It's, I don't even want to talk about it. What's going on, Pete?
Hey there. Hi there.
Sometimes I think that's what happens when you get old. You have nothing else to talk about.
Yeah.
You don't do anything but watch politics.
I just had the beer and the microphone in my hand, and I tried to take a drink of the microphone. Have you ever done that?
Oh, we're gonna get that on camera.
No,
Yeah.
but we've seen Gene Pompa do that.
Oh.
But also, when you said you were listening to Sam Tripoli's podcast because you'd like just taken your headphones off, and then you're like, I thought it'd be really funny if that was right now, like if instead of listening to us, you were actually just listening to another podcast.
I wouldn't doubt it.
That's more interesting to you.
let me ask you this: you live here now.
I live here now.
How long ago did you move from New York?
I moved in June, and man, this place is great.
Wait, so did you move with him?
I lived outside of LA.
So you knew her from out here?
I moved here for her. I said it was for show business and for my career and to not put pressure on it.
Maybe
but like
50%.
He's chasing you.
I'm chasing you, and but no, I mean,
I hear you're a therapist. Is that
I'm
correct?
a
Psychologist.
psychiatric nurse practitioner.
Okay, so what is that exactly?
So
She put her witchcraft on me, and then I moved.
basically, I can, in the state of California, it's restricted, but I can do what a psychiatrist can do. I can prescribe meds. I can do therapy. I can put people on a hold if I need to, admit them to the hospital.
You can put them in a hold, like you know how to.
Oh, like a psych hold.
Oh, I was like, she knows how to choke people out.
Well, I have had to do that.
Really?
Well,
Yeah.
not choke them out, but I have. Had
Could
to
you
do takedowns.
could you cure my claustrophobia? It's not claustrophobia, cleithrophobia.
Cleithrophobia?
It's a
What is
fear of
that?
being trapped.
Oh, actually, so I'm gonna go get my EMDR certification, and it's for phobias. It's this new kind of really successful treatment for phobias. So I will.
Do you
talk to
zap
you
me
about
with like
that.
a cattle prod?
No, it's.
Do you kick me in the
very
balls really
painless.
hard?
Very painless.
I can't ride elevators, and it's just becoming debilitating.
Really?
Is that why you have such nice calves? You're taking stairs all the time?
I do take stairs a lot,
Yeah.
and every once in a while I get in a hotel where they won't, where the door's locked, and then I got to get a security guard every time I want to go up. They always put me on the lowest floor, and it's getting to the point where I'm just like, I think I'll just go get stuck in the elevator and have a fucking panic attack.
So it's getting worse.
I keep saying I think I can cure it on my own. It's been like 10 years. And I'm like, I can cure it. And it used to be I could ride some shitty elevators. Or I mean some good elevators. And
Like a major sturdy.
yeah, one with like a lot of room. If I saw like a escape hatch, if I, the alarms, everything looks like it worked. But when I would get on a shitty one, I'm like, oh, fuck off. I'm out of here. Or I see it like bounce as it comes down. I'm like, I'm out of here. The tight ones are all metal, where it's like all. I'm like, no fucking.
There'd be no way you could break through it.
Yeah, like the Kool-Aid Man.
Can I tell you something that's really scary? I was on an elevator one time. So the elevator, the way that they're designed so that you can't plummet to your death is that the bottom of the shaft narrows like very slightly, and it goes down like another 2 stories. And so like if it ever falls, it goes like, and there's kind of like a friction break to it, so that and then the last stop is that there's no more, like it's so narrow that it has to stop. But I've been in an elevator before where it like fell and got to that point where it went
And then were you stuck in there?
yeah, I was stuck in there for a minute or two.
Oh, that's
and
not
then
bad.
And then we got out of it, but yeah, that was in my college dorm. I like
Where'd you go to school?
University of Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I've been in an elevator where the worst case scenario happened.
I'd
and it
rather have
wasn't-
that.
And it wasn't that bad because they're all built that way.
No, that's not the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is a woman in China that got in an elevator, got stuck, and they closed down the building and they didn't find her for a month.
Oh wow.
That's worst case scenario.
That is definitely the worst case scenario.
That's
How do you
pretty
feel
bad.
about Aerosmith's "Love in an Elevator"? Can you listen to that song? Or is that like crazy to you?
There's so many things. I can't ride roller coasters anymore because I was on a roller coaster at Six Flags and they brought us back, like we were done, and before we came into the exit, they stopped and they were like, we got a technical problem here. We're just gonna have to sit for a while. And I'm like, you're real tight strapped, and it's not strapped in, you're like bolted in.
Yeah.
And I just started to go, oh, wait a minute. I'm fucking trapped. I can't get out of here or move at all. And I just started to freak the fuck out. Bert, I talked about this on a podcast Bert Kreischer has it too, and we talk for hours about it all the time.
So how does marriage feel for you?
That's why I don't wear a ring.
Really?
Swear to God.
Wow.
Because of cleat, I do a bit about it, but that's why I don't wear a wedding ring.
Wow.
And yes, marriage did in the beginning feel like that.
It did feel like that.
I was a little bit like, this is fucking over. Like, oh my God. Like I'm for the rest of my life. I love it now, but it was hard in the beginning. There was a little bit of.
You were
fear.
your own like bro friend in a romantic comedy. Like it's
Dude,
over, dude.
What are you doing?
It's done, man.
Yeah, I waited not long enough though. You got married young, didn't you?
I got married when I was 32,
That's
and then
not
I
that
got
young.
out of it before I was 40.
Yeah.
And then now I'm really happy.
I remember that. That was awful, wasn't it?
It was terrible to get out of that marriage was awful. It was.
She seemed so nice though. I remember. I saw you guys down in South Carolina. You were there with the family.
Yeah, and she was, and
This
then.
is why he's the devil, and you don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I legally can't disparage her into
Oh,
a
really?
microphone. I legally can't.
I didn't know
so,
that.
Like,
Is that
so
everyone that's in a divorce or your divorce?
My divorce specifically was written into the legal on camera or into a microphone. I can't disparage her. And like, but I will say this, like, it was really, really great until it wasn't. And like,
I just talked to another comic today. I won't say his name, who just found out he's getting divorced today. I ran into him at the Apple store, and he told me the story, and I was like, oh, fuck. And he's been on the show, and I was like, and it was just a nightmare of a story. And I was like, oh, this is awful.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that my life was fucked up from the day that I found that out, and like for like 3 years.
Until
like,
you met Jamie.
Really?
too.
I mean, kind of like and I mean, but that makes an assumption that like you need love in your life to be whole. Like, I think that I made myself whole before I met her, and like that was how I brought that energy into my life. Not to be one of those like hippy dippy like Venice Beach, like love and light, dude, love and light. Just like accept love and light.
It was
you know?
attractive that he was always working on himself. I
Oh.
have to say that was like it was
Yeah.
really cool. Like
He's
like,
always been doing that.
Well, he was like, yeah,
I've needed
I
it.
go to
I've needed to work.
therapy.
If anybody's needed to work on themselves, it's me.
But to be open about that, it's very attractive, I would say.
He, where'd you move to? Where do you live in LA?
We live down like near Melrose and Vine, and I would be hesitant to release that, but like the people, anyone who would stalk us is not as scary as like the homeless Walking Dead in our neighborhood, and
no one stalks anymore. I used to get stalked like crazy when we first started the podcast, like weird, creepy stuff. They take pictures of my house and send it to me. The weirdest shit you can ever imagine. Now I'm lucky to get tweets. Because
you
there's
sound sad.
no, what happened is there's so many people on, like I always say, there's going to be no one listening to podcasts anymore because everybody's making one.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's become so narcissistic that they don't care about anyone else. They only care about themselves. Our culture is in this like narcissistic phase where people aren't really fans of people anymore or fans of things because they're too busy. Like, there's too many outlets for them to express themselves that they don't want to watch someone else that's expressed themselves. And there's not as much of a value on success or creativity. There's almost this like, fuck him, like,
Yeah.
like I can do that. I'll just watch
I agree.
on YouTube how to do it, and I can do what he did if I practiced as much as he did.
You're so right. Everyone's cultivating their brand. Like even
Yeah.
like a hairstylist or
Yeah.
whatever is like they have
Everybody.
they have a whole brand, and they have like pictures of people that they've cut their hair, and like this is my style and this is my thing and this is me with somebody famous. And yeah, you're right. Like everybody is a producer, and there are
My
less consumers.
friend that works with me a little bit. She works with me in Australia and over here. We were hiking one day, and she just does like promo work and stuff for comics. And we were hiking one day, and I told her not to bring her phone. I'm like, don't bring your phone. I don't want a fucking phone with us. Just don't bring it. She's like, why not? I'm like, I'll bring mine. I'm not going to do it, but like for emergencies. But I go, I don't want your phone.
Yeah.
And she's like, why? I'm like, because you'll then pull it out and obsess over it. And this is like,
Take pictures.
we're
of
out in the
everything.
middle of the fucking. Halfway up the hill, she starts crying. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I saw so many pictures, places I could take pictures. And I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, why do you need these pictures? She's like, because then I can put them on my Instagram and I get stuff, sponsorships of this. And I'm like, who are you? You're not. But everybody is now.
Everybody's cultivating their brand. It was funny when the first day she took me for a hike up at Lake Arrowhead, and she goes, and this proves how New York City I was. She's like pack stuff that you'd need for the wilderness, and so I brought my credit card. I was like, I probably will need my credit card.
I bring that
out
too.
in the
Yeah,
woods.
and I have a picture of him taking pictures.
Yeah, I was taking pictures of everything. I was such a city boy. And then she made me ascend down this hill that was like a rock slide hill that we definitely almost died like
Where are
a
you
million
from?
times.
I'm originally from Alabama,
Okay.
so I'm an outdoorsy
Yeah, she's
girl.
used to it. She's used
Yeah.
to like being chased by men in the woods that are going squeal, squeal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Squeal, woman.
Yeah.
The weirdest part about LA, and we were talking about this, me writing a bit about this the other night, is that like I'm from Wisconsin, and we have all of the historic serial killers are from Wisconsin. Dahmer, Ed Gein, Manson wasn't from there, but he probably had cousins there. And me.
If you're listening, I'm pointing behind
Yeah.
my hand at someone beside me.
But
so nice all the time.
But so coming from a culture of serial killers, it's so weird to come to a town
That's
where
so
everyone
weird that you just said that. So coming from a culture of serial
killers.
I felt like I needed to bring it to Los Angeles. Like, you guys aren't keeping
Really?
up your level of serial killer.
really franchised the West Coast serial killers. But it was so weird to me that
Well, I need you, Rachel, in a second.
I'm just gonna say hi.
Okay. Her
um,
boyfriend's here.
oh,
I'm joking.
I need you too. But it was so weird to me that like everyone that you meet goes like, "Hey man, do you want to go for a hike like in the woods? Like just be alone in wilderness?" And I'm like,
It is
"This
such
is
an
crazy."
LA thing.
Shh, we're busy.
Who is
doing,
that?
It's sorry, it's not the number one
Oh, it's
podcast in
real sweet.
podcasting history.
I can get you Bill Cosby next week.
Yeah, he's still mad at me.
See you later tonight, maybe.
Can I ask a podcast question? 'Cause
Sure.
I'm literally starting mine tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
it's
I'm
great.
gonna be a producer as well.
Sure.
But how? Because I have those stands where you can like it looks like a radio show, or I can do it this way.
Whatever you
Which-
like.
Which way should I do it?
Everybody, it's all your preference.
Really?
Let's get to serial killers.
But as a hold on, but as a producer, does it really fuck with the levels when people have it different distances?
yes.
So like I'm gonna be doing that because I don't have anyone, and like so I'm gonna be doing that the whole show, right?
Not really. Not if you just go like this every time they're down, you go
You go.
and they pick it up.
All right.
Just don't have Gene Pompa on the show.
Yeah.
Oh,
then you'll be good.
that-
Okay, so let's get to serial killer. I live out in the hills of Malibu,
Nice.
and we have a murderer,
What?
and it's getting really fucking intense. And
Seriously?
I have become obsessed with it, and my wife thinks I should do a podcast completely devoted to it, because here's what's going on. So, I've talked about it on the show. I live out right, like, I could almost throw a rock into Malibu Creek State Park, which is thousands
So
of acres.
nice.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
I
It's
wanna
where they
take you
film
there.
MASH. I live up in the mountains. Everybody's got horses, mountains. Like, if I go back by my house, it's a 5 mile hike right up one of the biggest mountains in the Santa Monica mountain chain. Where I live, though, on the weekends, the park gets crowded deep in the park. People go camping, whatever. Some guy shot a guy right in the forehead. At 4 a.m, he was in his tent. He came out, he had his 2-year-old and 4-year-old in the tent with him. Gets shot right in the forehead, boom, dead. There are a million different rumors. Some of the so I've gone down these deep, dark internet holes. Like, it was a hit. He worked for a pharmaceutical company. He had just quit the pharmaceutical company. His wife's a doctor. He said he was taking the kids so she could study, but it was the pharmaceutical company was after him because he found some drug that blah blah blah, and it was going to cost them $80 million. So there's all kinds of stories. But he was with his brother-in-law. Some people say only an assassin could take that shot. The police won't reveal all the. Anyway, once it starts like leaking out a bit, they find out, oh yeah, some dude was shot in the arm by a shotgun. Okay, he was in a hammock on one of the trails. Then some woman's like, oh yeah, my car got shot while we were camping, like right here in the trunk. Then somebody's like, I was driving my Tesla by and my car got shot. Well, then all my neighbors start hearing gunshots, calling the police. Then just the other night, so this is a couple nights ago, I'm in Vancouver. Some guy breaks into a couple buildings around and steals food, and he's wearing camo and carrying a rifle. So police are sending SWAT teams, helicopters, every night. Like, when I go home tonight, they could be out there. And I know they've got like thermal imaging, all this stuff, but they're telling us some stuff. And like, I'm on Nextdoor, which is that app that all the neighbors are on.
That's cool.
And neighbors will be like, hey, I just reported this. I saw this guy, blah, blah, blah. They put it up. They took it down. I don't know why the police reported this. Then they took it down. And this guy was out here. And it's getting really fucking spooky. And we're right in the middle of it. And all the neighbors are on edge. And I'm briefly going over this. But it's like, it's pretty like, I'm about to go buy a Belgian Malinois, which is like the scariest fucking dog in the world, and just very well trained, just like a tack dog.
Yeah,
Because I
bulletproof dog.
don't want a dog. I don't want a gun in my
Bulletproof coat.
house.
Yeah.
I don't want a gun in my house. But I've got neighbors, tons of neighbors with guns. But it's weird because there was that guy Eric Rudolph who was. Do you remember the Olympic bomber?
I feel like I remember
In Atlanta?
Yeah, he escaped to North Carolina. It's hid in the woods for 5 years while they were tracking him, and he was on the FBI's most wanted list. So my wife keeps going, when this is over, I'm like, this ain't over. This dude could be like camped out in a hole somewhere underground. They're never gonna find this fucker, and then he's gonna sneak into our houses to get food all the time.
Yeah, if
'Cause
he's
that's what
able
that
to
dude did.
move constantly, and like let's say he's ex-military and he knows some of the technology and how to avoid it, or
Right.
If they're doing thermal imaging, but he knows that if he sleeps under like this certain type of a Kevlar or like he's under a dentist vest sleeping at night so that they can't see him.
The dentist's like, he broke in. He didn't take any of the anesthesia, any of the drugs. He took our vest.
Yeah, enough to make a tent out of it. It was crazy. When you first started describing this guy that got shot with the kids, I was like, is this like a Make-A-Wish murderer where the guy's like, oh, somebody kill me. I got these dumb kids. Like, oh, okay, your wish is granted. He's like the Cupid, but for like people that don't want to be dads anymore.
But it's funny because I have all the conspiracy theorist neighbors, and one of them I was talking to the other day, he's like, that was a hit. And I go, he goes 880 yards away. And I go, where'd you get that information? He goes, on sites you don't know about.
Whoa.
And I was like, okay, well, so if you're listening to this and you're one of those creeps, because I know that's who listens to the show, please take me down those wormholes. I want to find the deepest, darkest sites where guys are talking about this shit, because I had one cop a cop stopped me one night going into my house, and he's like, and we live like way deep in the woods, and he's like, what's going on, man? I'm like, just coming home. And he's like, from where? I'm like, you looking for the murderer? And he's like, you hear any shootings? You hear any? There's somebody said they heard a shooting tonight and or gunshots. And I'm like, yeah, what's going on, man? So we start talking, and once I got him like out of cop mode, he's like, I think we're closing in on the guy. I'm like, so it is a guy, and there is a guy, and it's just my SWAT team friend Scott that's on my other podcast told me to get one of those mag lights. He's like, get a mag light, and the really long one that holds like 6 batteries, and he goes, you just shine the light on him if he comes in your eye, and then you just wrap him with it. And I was like, yeah, my luck, I would hit him, he'd fall to the ground, and then I'd be like, call the cops. And then I'd be standing over him going, please don't get up.
Yeah.
Please don't get up. And then he'd get up, and I'd hit him again, and then he'd get up, and I'd hit him again, and then the cops show up, and they'd be like, why did you kill him? In such an inhumane way.
You would go to prison for killing the murderer guy because you could have just like let him survive.
It's just a FedEx guy. He left the wrong package.
When you were coming home that night, were you driving the Bingle Bus?
It might have. No, I didn't. I forget. I saw the cop and I was like, but we had a few it's been fucking weird, and I could probably do a whole podcast on it where I go interview the cops and interview everybody about it, because they've closed. You're not allowed to camp in the park, but it's open during the day, which is weird. And I
like you wouldn't kill during the day.
I used to mountain bike all through there. That's why Rachel's going for a hike, and she's like, oh, I'm going up into Malibu, and I was like, I can tell you some good places to go, and then I was like, wait. Just don't for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are on the hike?
Go.
Yeah, we're gonna go not there now.
We're having an LA date hiking, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm supposed to in May hike from Will Rogers State Park to Point Magoo, which is 68 miles in 24 hours.
How is that even possible?
It's about 21 minutes a mile. You run the straights, jog downhill if it's not steep, and hike the uphills.
Hold on. All right. I have a really, really intelligent question.
Why am I doing
Why?
this? Charity thing. But I mean, I can do charity for anything.
Yeah.
Like I am. Comedy Wipeout, November 4th. Come see it.
Just get a green screen and then take pictures in front of it and tell people you did it.
It's also, I've done weird shit. I've run marathons, done drunk, I've done all kinds of shit, and I'm like, all my buddies just did the Ironman, and they're like, you're such a pussy, you won't do the Ironman with us. And I was like, you've done that shit, haven't you?
I've done 2 marathons and a lot of triathlons.
Yeah.
And,
did you ever do an Ironman?
Never did. I did a half Ironman once.
Yeah.
And,
so I've done a bunch of triathlons too, and I'm just like, I feel like I have to do it. at some point.
Yeah, I mean, there is that. Yeah, it's the same part of your brain as a guy that goes like, I wonder if I could survive in war.
Yeah.
Except for it'd be like if war just cost you like a $500 entry fee
Yeah.
and you could do it for a half a day.
That's the part I hate the most, is how much they make you pay for those big fucking races. It's like, you do not deserve $500 for the T-shirt I get and the fucking. I'm even eating and drinking my own food in that kind of race.
Yeah, I couldn't stand the people that went to them. Like you're there in the morning, you're in the race corral, and it's everybody's big day because they've trained forever and they have spent all this money and they woke up early, and everyone in their family is like, this is your day. But now you're in this corral with 10,000 people that it's your
their
big day.
Yeah.
And I wanted to punch people constantly.
I felt the same exact way. When I did the New York City Marathon, everybody said, when you get into New York, when you come over that bridge, there's going to be crowds, and you're going to get so pumped up, and you're going to be so excited that that's when it gets easy. I came into the city, and everybody started cheering, and I was like, wait a minute. I am in front of crowds every night. I detest this.
Yes.
Go away, all of you. And people are like, come on, man, keep it up, stop. Like I'd stop, start moving, man. And I'd be like, fuck you, fuck you. Why don't you jump this fence and fucking run? And I was like, when we got up into like Harlem, when there was no one around, I was like, oh, I feel good again.
Yeah, it wasn't an energizing crowd. It was just hecklers.
Yeah.
It was New York level hecklers.
Awful.
Is what it was. Yeah,
awful.
I did the New York City Marathon as well, and I hated it. I
hated every part of it.
Every single part of it. And so I got there. I ran it with someone who I won't say whose name it was.
Because you'll disparage them?
Yeah, probably. And
no, I'm saying, is it? It's your ex?
Yeah. Well, now I can't say it now. But
fuck, I think everybody knew the way you said that.
I'll just tell the story. So we agreed we're gonna run together, and like everybody, our coach, everybody was like, you make a plan, you stick to it. And then everybody also said, if somebody says that they want to run with you, don't do it. And so we're on the bus on the way to the marathon, and this girl named Elle, who was like a sweetheart, was like, I don't have anyone to run with me. And then my ex is like, we'll run with you. And I was like, no, the plan. We can't run. We can't run with her. So we're running, and we get to like mile 5, and Elle is like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I was like, cool, see you later.
Yeah.
Like, see you later. I'm the nicest guy that anybody knows, and I'm like, see you later.
In a race like that, it's every man for himself. Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta run your own pace.
We had a plan. And my ex was like, we gotta wait for her. And so I'm timing her bathroom things. I'm like, all right, that was 51 seconds. And then she gets out and she's like, I couldn't go. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
I would fucking take her back to the porta john, go back in, and then I would put a stick through that little thing, lock her in there. Even though I'm claustrophobic, I would have her. I'd be like, sorry, you didn't finish the marathon.
Yeah, the whole time, so Elle kept having to stop and stop and stop, and it was driving me crazy. And at this point, I was like, she's added 14 minutes to our thing. And then the more that you stop, the more your legs are just dead when you start up again. And like she literally, like that was the last marathon I'm gonna do. There's a part of me that feels like I should do another one as like a do-over, but I feel like marathons take years off of your life.
I do too. Oh, they do. I do a sport, like a strength and conditioning podcast, and anyone will tell you that endurance is really bad for you. Endurance training. I work out a lot now, and it's usually never more than 20 minutes. It's high intensity interval training that's like really, really heavy and hard, but I try to keep it short and sweet because that shit is so bad for you. And so this 68 mile, that's the one thing holding me back from it, is the amount of training I'm going to have to do so that I don't hurt myself, and how bad it's going to hurt me like in the future. Like am I going to have irreparable damage because I fucking did this dumb hike? Because I do them now where I'll go 2,000 vertical, like right by my house for like 5 miles, and I'll just do it real quickly, and I'll go up. And if I decide to come back down and turn it into 10, at 10 it hurts. Like my knees start to hurt at the bottom, and I'm like, fuck, why did I do that? So, but I mean, I'm always running around back there. It's like I could be the murderer.
You could be, but you were in Vancouver. I like that you slipped in an alibi within your story. That you were in Vancouver. It couldn't possibly be you.
I wasn't in Vancouver when the murder happened, though.
Okay.
I don't know. I got to check that date. I wonder where I was. Chances are I was not in town because I'm never here.
You're always gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
that's the weird, like living in. So I've lived in LA for what 4 months now, 5 months, and I think I've been here a total of like 33 days. And so people are like, "How are you liking it? How are you settling in?" And I'm like, "I'm not, because I'm never here. It's gonna take years for me to feel like I live here."
You will travel more from here because you'll end up going to the East Coast a lot, and there's a lot more of a population center there. So you travel, and you have to, and to get to the gig there, you have to leave early Wednesday or Thursday morning.
Or red eye.
Then you get there, and you're there the whole time, and then you come back Sunday. Sunday is, I want to get back to see my daughter and my wife, and so I get on like
And murder people
5.
in
Yeah,
the woods.
I gotta get to the woods. At about 5 a.m. I'll wake up, or 4 a.m. or not wake up. I'll start to go to sleep at like, you get back from your show at 12 and like, oh, I gotta sleep. Next thing you know, it's 2 in the morning. Next thing I know, I'm like, I can't sleep. So I sleep on the plane. I get home and my wife's like, oh, you have Izzy all day, and I'm like, no, I have to sleep. I'm dying.
Yeah.
And then I'll take a nap, and then it's ruined. So you lose those travel. It's like full days.
Full days of travel. Like I'm going to Philly. I'm going to Philly on Saturday to do a gig, and then I started opening for this guy named Jonathan Van Ness, the Queer Eye guy. And so I got to go to Seattle to open for
You're
him.
not starting to see a theme here?
I know.
Okay.
I know. Got my eye on you, Jonathan.
Why are you opening for him?
I'm an ally. I'm an ally.
I know,
I'm-
but
I'm
like your career's on fire. Why would you have to open for someone?
I mean, it's really good money. I'll say
What
that.
is he a stand-up?
I know that he does a comedy show.
Oh, you haven't worked with him yet?
I haven't worked with him. I'm starting this Sunday.
Okay.
But yeah, I've heard that his show is really funny. It's the hotels.comedy tour that
Okay.
he's on. So
I hope you're getting good rooms.
yeah. You know what's
They're
so
like,
funny?
we don't know where you're staying until the day before.
Do you know what's so funny? I think that the way that hotels.com ties into it is that they said that it's just a buyout and you got to book your own hotel. So they're like, we know that our acts are going to use hotels.com to do this. And I swear that I will. I'm really do we get the light?
No, he was just telling me the time.
Oh, the time. Oh, we've done an hour.
Yeah.
Oh,
It went
oh,
fast, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Good for another 15.
Okay, cool.
I got a hard out in 14.
I love
But I
that
got- no, I'm
hard
kidding.
out. Wait, so he does a comedy show, but you've never seen? Are you WME?
I'm CAA.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm CAA,
Yeah.
which is another reason why I moved out here, because I got with them, and then they
Okay.
were like,
Oh yeah, I saw your post the other day
Yeah.
of your
Andy. Andy's waiting in there. He's waiting to hang out. and,
Andy's hilarious.
yeah,
He's a
Andy's-
good dude.
Andy's in like 1 week of retirement right now between going from CAA to
So
Brillstein.
he's partying all night.
So yeah, he's like, he never drinks on weeknights, and he never drinks at comedy clubs. So we're gonna try to get him to drink tonight.
Oh, that's hysterical. I'll come in and buy him a shot.
yeah.
I like Andy. He's a good dude. So now you're Brillstein.
Now I'm gonna be at Brillstein.
I gotcha.
And
Stay at CA.
stay at CA.
Okay.
Yeah. They're great, but they represent that Jonathan Van Ness,
Okay.
and then they represent me, and then they're booking this hotels.comedy tour. And so they were like, do you want to be one of the openers? It's really great money. And I was like, hell yes, because I need money, because I spent so much money moving out here, and like I had a really great savings account, and then I just saw it like bleeding out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, yes, I will.
Yeah, a move will crush you.
Yeah.
It's a good thing it's not hotels.net. Then it wouldn't work out. Hotels.net. Netity.
Yeah. What would
Nanette. Hotel.
Nanette? Yeah.
Nanette.
It's just spoken word comedy.
Nanette.com.
Where you can be funny or you cannot.
By the way, I heard Hannah moved to L.A. Friends with Hannah Gadsby, who did Nanette.
I
know-
saw her in an elevator at Montreal. We rode in an elevator with her, which is terrifying to you.
She knows all about she saw my dick. Did I tell that on the last episode? Yeah. I heard she lived here, but I thought the whole idea of Nanette was that she was quitting.
Well, I remember hearing. I was talking to somebody that represents her that was that they were saying. So this is very secondhand. So I'm sorry if she hears this and it's false. But they were saying that like she basically put everything she could into that special, and now and then normally when you do a special, everyone doesn't see it. You know, like
Yeah,
and
but
everyone saw that, so
she can't do
she's in
that.
the best possible predicament where she's like, oh shit, I have nothing, and then she has all these speaking engagements where she's like, I hope you don't mind me doing Nanette.
She's a good comic though, so she's
Yeah.
got like, I've worked with her for years. I've known her, it seems like 10 years or something, but I don't. Yeah, I thought the whole idea though, the concept of it was that she was quitting, and so.
So now she's not.
Yeah, I guess not.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Hey, every good story has a twist.
So
the
I'm
twi-
quitting. I'm quitting too. I quit this podcast right now,
Yeah.
and I just started it again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Could you imagine how fun it would be to have a bunch of stuff booked, knowing that you were going to quit 3 months later or something? Like if you could have like a real Burning Bridges tour.
I've talked.
where you just went and did whatever
I've
you
talked
wanted.
about that a million times on this show. That is my dream, to go. I'm quitting the business. I'm going to, like, do something else. Like, let's say I inherited money, or I got this job offer to do something completely out of this, and I go, all right. It wouldn't be 3 months. I'd do a full year of Burning Bridges.
Full year of just
And I think I would need some like alcohol to help me through it.
Oh.
And I would just fucking tell everybody what I really thought, you know, like, because there's so many people in this business that you have to bite your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I just, rather than bite my tongue, I just avoid them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just hide from them. I'm like, I just don't want them to, because I'm too honest. I'm like, they'll see it on my face that I don't like them. But so I would, so I think in this process, what would happen is my career would take off then.
You would start to make it.
Yes. And that'd be so funny. He insults you right to your face.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's a guy doing it. It's called Kevin Brennan. And his show is called Burning Bridges. Because we talked about this when he started it. I was like, what do you have to lose, Kevin? Fucking do it.
So he really is doing that. I mean, I guess he's just.
Have you ever
speaking-
listened to his show?
I've been on his show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done his podcast before, and yeah. So I guess I've been on it, and like I was just struck by how how candid he was. But that's just him.
Yeah,
And-
he's always kind of been like that.
Yeah.
I tell the story. He was we were in a strip club one time on 4th of July years and years ago, and we're sitting there, and there was no one there because it was 4th of July, and it was after a gig, and I mean this is like 15, 16 years ago, and this stripper comes over, and she's just like talking to me and taking a liking to me and hanging out. Like she sits down, she's not working, she's kind of like stopped dancing because there's no one paying her.
She wants to be your friend.
Yeah, and I go, so what do you do during the day? And Kevin's sitting here, you're where she was. I go, so what do you do during the day? She goes, I work at a massage parlor. And Kevin, without even blinking, goes, can't you fucking type?
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, oh my God, what a burn.
Wow.
That's.
I'm always amazed at how fast comics brains
I
work.
don't think it's
swear-
speed. I think it's Asperger's.
No, you
It's
guys- you
Asperger's.
guys
I think
function
half the comedians
on
are
another
Asperger.
level. I swear, as someone who studies brains and behavior, your brain.
Well, that's just because you're from Alabama.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
No, I'm telling you, I honestly think on the spectrum, comedians are on there. I think most comedians have mental problems. That's why.
There are mental problems, but I feel like most comedians that I've met have so much empathy, and they're so nice deep down that wouldn't show through if they were on the spectrum, you know.
Well,
that's interesting.
but I've seen the evil side and I've seen the nice side of some people. So it's kind of like not bipolar, because that's not bipolar, but I've also seen crazy hypocrisy where it's like, you know, there's that whole thing about like men can't make rape jokes or blah, 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 because they haven't. And when women say that, I'm like, do you know who you're talking to? You're talking to a group of people who have probably 90% have been sexually abused. And that's male comics. Like if I sat around and talked to many, many male comics have this story about like horrific child abuse, which involved sexual abuse. And then, you know, so then there comes this, oh, he's a white man, he can't say that. And I'm like, why don't you go talk to him about his childhood and see
Go
if he
hear
can
what
tell
he
us?
has to say.
The meanness that you say that comes out is I think that that's more of a defense mechanism. And
Oh, hell
and they're just
yeah.
really sweethearts deep down. Like
Yeah.
I think there's a
hurt,
ton of insecurity, and it's always like bite before bitten.
Mm-hmm.
And because I've seen some of the harshest, meanest comics, you can make them cry if you just hit them once, and they're like, "Why would you say that to me?" And you're like, I've seen Lisa Lampanelli cry from people making fun of her.
she's an emotional person.
Yeah, and
He scared me about meeting Rich Voss, and I met him, and he was like the nicest
Rich is
guy
sweetest guy.
ever.
I love Rich, but if you pick on Rich, he'll attack you.
I know.
And so
I was scared
I
at
have
first.
learned to just not do it because I used to butt heads with him, and he would see me, and before I could even start, he would start on me. Oh, look what just fucking walked in here, you know.
Yeah, when I first met Rich, I just moved to New York, and I was hosting at Stand Up New York, and then I hugged Bonnie because I had opened for Bonnie and Nick Swartzen like maybe a year or two before that. And Bonnie, like, that week was, like, hooking up with this guy from the city pages, and then she was hooking up with this other guy and whatever. And then I had this ex-girlfriend that didn't have sex with me, and Bonnie, as a joke, was like, she's like, come on, we were in the green room. She's like, come on, let me blow you right now. She's like, she's out at the bar, like, she'll never know. I'm like, I don't think that she was really
She's
serious, but I
hilarious.
also was like, I think she was pretty serious. And I was just me. I was like, no, that would be inappropriate, and I'm not that kind of guy. And she's like, come on, like, she doesn't fuck you. What are you doing, man? And so it's funny because I was opening so I was hosting the show, and Rich and Bonnie come in. I hug Bonnie, and Rich got real jealous, and he's like, who is this guy? Who is this guy to you? What is this? He's like, he goes, have you fucked my girlfriend? Because at the time it was just girlfriend. He goes, have you fucked my girlfriend? I go, Rich. I go, I am the only guy that I know that hasn't fucked Bonnie. and he like hated me. Like, I thought that he'd laugh or like, or there'd be some levity to it, but like he didn't speak to me until then. We worked together at the Stand, and then I don't even think he remembers that now.
Until he listens.
Until he listens to this, and then I'll be back on the
you're back on
shit list.
the no-fly list with Rich Voss.
Yeah.
I've played golf with Rich. That's interesting.
He wanted me to golf with him forever, and I just never go. What, is it good that I didn't go out golfing?
No,
with
he's
him?
fun. Rich is great, and he's a good golfer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good. He's just. Rich is a fun person to be around.
Rich calls me, and it'll be like Rich Voss, and then I'll pick it up, and he'll go, "Hey, Pete," and I'll go, "Yeah," and he'll go, "I'm a headliner," and then he'll hang up. That's the whole conversation.
I'll ask him a question. He'll answer. I'll say thanks, and then he'll write back, "Don't text me again, stupid." We both found out that we both contact club owners about dates and stuff, and you find this one, not like Mikey. Well, Mikey's one of them, but guys that have written you off or for some reason don't want you back, and then you kind of make it fun.
Yeah.
To text them all the time. It's like a girl that won't date you that you're like, well, I have nothing to lose. I'm just gonna fucking say the most inappropriate. So I'll tell club owners, I'll text someone that, and I'll be like, hey man, when are we gonna do a date again? I'll be like, I'm available in the second week in December 2023. and I'll go, I'm booked up until then, so if you have that week available, I'd love to take it. And then I'll text back, oh, sorry, just booked it.
That is so funny.
And so I do those all the time to bookers.
That's
and
so
Rich
funny.
showed me his
I love
phone.
that.
He does the same fucking thing. He tortures them.
That's
and
so
it's
funny.
just so fun to do. We better end this because we got another one. We have, you don't know, it's like the nice night. We have you, now we have Justin Willman, who's do you know Justin?
He was the Cake Wars guy.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
an
yeah,
amazing
yeah,
magician.
yeah, yeah,
and yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
I've never met him, but I feel like we have all the same mutual friends.
Yeah, he's really good friends with Dan Levy. Dan
Yes.
Levy and he went to school together, and so that's who's coming up on the next episode. So check it out. I want to thank you, Jamie,
Thank
for
you.
dealing with him,
Yeah.
because when he puts his hands around your neck and starts choking, remember me that I told
will.
you it's
I
going to
will.
happen.
Yeah.
You know he's an excellent wakeboarder. Did you know that?
Yes, actually, and he did that in Alabama this summer.
Oh, did you
Yeah,
get
we
do you
went
still
on
have the
wake-
skills?
I was too scared because the last time I went out and really tried to throw inverts and stuff, I got a concussion. And then it was the kind of concussion where I went to the stand and I didn't even remember my friend Aaron Berg. I didn't know his name. And so I was like, and then I had to like spend weeks in the dark because when you have a really bad concussion, you just sit in a dark room.
Oh my God!
And you don't think and you don't see things and you just have to sit there and try to think of nothing.
For how long?
It was like 2 weeks that I was sitting in dark rooms as much as I could. And
were you doing stand up at all still?
I did very minimal. I had to cancel a weekend, and so I couldn't do stand up because I couldn't think. I literally couldn't think. And I was going, am I going to be able to do my act anymore?
Were you worried that it was for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I was very afraid. And then stuff started coming back, and everything was fine. And so this time wakeboarding, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just jump the wake. Maybe as a 41-year-old man, I don't need to be doing flips over a wake on a board.
I get scared like that all the time because I get scared like that all the time because I surf a lot and I surf over reefs and stuff. And I know guys that have hit their head off the reef and snapped their necks and all kinds of things. And I'm just like, I got to be careful. I got a kid and I want to like surf as aggressively as possible, but I'll be like taking off on this wave and it'll start closing out on me. And most guys would like try to hold it and then tuck in and try to get barreled. And I'm like, nah, I got a kid. Yeah. And I'll just pull off the back of the wave. I'm like, I can't do it. So, Rachel, wasn't there some crazy story that he had? Did we miss the crazy story?
Oh, I don't know. Do you have a crazy story?
No, you said he had a crazy story, but he can't tell it maybe because
she asked if I had a crazy dating story, but can I tell another crazy concussion story? Because I got one less than a month ago.
What the fuck is wrong with you? You're gonna have CTE.
I know. I probably am.
Scar
so do you see the scar on my forehead? Like, I don't know if they can see it.
Oh, come on. You
like
just
right
got
there.
implants.
I got implants. Yeah. I got hair surgery just here. Well, actually,
scalped him.
I went out for yeah, I really did get scalped by the sidewalk, but I went out for a run and I'd just gotten passed here at the Improv. It was like I got passed, I got the email, and then I got a set because Nikki bailed on a set, so I got her set and I got passed all in one thing, and then 2.5 hours from then I had the set, so I was like, I'm gonna go out and get in good shape for the set or whatever.
Yeah, that's how it works.
That's how it works. It's immediate.
Yeah.
And so I go out and there's these two teenagers that just like lean against cars because they have nowhere to go, and they just like lean against cars and make out with each other, and like they
sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Back in the days when kissing was.
Back in the day, stand up dry humping against a Dodge, you know, and
who you, Kavanaugh?
Yeah, I like beer. But so I go out for my run, and my run was 30 feet. Like my run must have been like something happened, and I look over my shoulder and I'm like, I look at them like, get a room, and then right at that moment I trip on, you know how the sidewalks in LA, the root systems have buckled them. I just trip on that. And I was like, get a room, and then the ground, like the sidewalk was like, you lay down, and I fell so fucking hard.
And you got a concussion.
Yeah, I got a concussion, and I'm laying there on the ground bleeding, and like I can see my apartment. I can like see her walking in the windows and stuff, and I was like, help me, and then the kid comes over because his girlfriend was like, you need to go help him. And this kid, I swear to you, I heard him go, I just need a second before I run over there, because he
had a boner and he had to move it.
Yeah, he had like a 6-month boner from making out against this car.
And he had to tuck it up under the belt.
Yeah, he had to tuck it up, and then like somewhere in running over, the boner had like fallen down again. So this boner, this human boner of a teenage kid is like, hey man, can I help you? And I'm just like bleeding and laughing at his boner, and I'm like, it was a decent boner, like it really was a D stick, but he's like, can I help you up? And I was like, how? Like, do I just American Ninja Warrior myself up? And I wasn't, yeah, but that's how I did this, and so don't exercise.
Yeah, you do get hurt a lot, like I do always. Yeah. Well, thanks for doing it. There's so much I could talk to you forever. We'll have to do this again sometime. Thanks, Pete. Always been one of my favorites in the world. I consider you a good friend, not just a comedian. Good friend. Good luck, Jamie. You're a very lucky girl. So check out the Bingle Show. We're here. You can see Pete at petelee.com.
Peatly.net, and then you can follow me on Twitter, Peatly at Peatly Tweets, and then follow me on Instagram, Peatly.
And Jamie, she's
I'm
hiding.
not in the industry.
She's hiding.
Yeah.
You can get to her through him. Good luck.
If you need psychiatric help, let me know.
Yes, I do. So check out all my shows at eddieiff.com/tour. And, the big show, November 4th, coming up at the Comedy Store, Comedy Wipeout. We have me, Lachlan Patterson, Andrew Norelli, Joe Prano, Monty Franklin, and Chad Kroger. So come out and see that show. He's just smiling. And,
I'm not a serial killer.
And if you want to talk to me about the Malibu murder, I'm here for you. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything. Thank you guys for listening, and go fuck yourselves.
Oi!
Love that. We're done. Dude, this was great, man. You're really, really good at this.
Do you thank you? Do you like my $90,000 bus that I built?
Yeah, this is insane, man.
Yeah,
This is like...
I couldn't see how nice this was the other night.
It was a school bus, and I bought the bus for $11,000, and then I just kept spending and went like broke doing it. I was like,
When did you redesign this fully before the Bingle Show started, or was
yeah.
it,
So
were there
we did 400. Well, we did somewhere along the lines. In talking shit, I just decided I was done with it. But my wife didn't want it in the house, and it wasn't going. We were like, okay, we're gonna end it. We're gonna make it portable. What happened?
Yeah.
I recorded on this one.
What does that mean?
It's just on the other card.
Oh, that's fine.
That's fine.
You
I could
scared
bring this
me.
to your house on Sunday. Do you want me? Is that okay, or are you doing?
Do you
it
have
live?
the other one?
It's in here now.
Well, why don't you just give me that one?
I could.
So keep recording on that,
Okay, I'll take this.
and then just leave me that one.
Okay.
Oh, you scared me.
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
was like
did
a
we
little
not
bit-
record that episode?
Oh no,
Yeah.
it was definitely recorded.
Okay.
I made sure there was one in there before we.
They're coming on the bus.
They're coming.
No, what is exposure?
So
Do I-
'Cause that's when they take you in and you get in it, and then you go up a floor. I know, but
It sounds like you're going towards posture. Like it sounds like you're going towards anything that's enclosed and not just.
it's. I read about this thing, claustrophobia. It's a fear of being trapped, and because small places don't scare me. Small places I can't get out of scare me.
Usually there's always an anxiety that's underlying that.
Yeah, they say it's a fear of death, which I do have. Incredible fear of death.
I feel like anything's triggered anxiety.
But we on YouTube.